Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. How are you, Dr. Sandra?
I am fabulous.
We are in for a treat today. Grab your virtual seats. We're going to be talking about raising children. Yes, it's hard, but what, Dr. Sandra?
It's worth it.
It's so worth it. Grab your seats, tag your friends, and make sure that you get ready to strap your seatbelts on for a roller coaster ride today. We're going to go ahead and kick this show. Hello, everyone. I'm very grateful that you took the time to tune in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. Listen, we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real relevant and relatable content on today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. And on today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show, we're going to be talking about how we balance our lives as mothers, as authors, as entrepreneurs, as women that are grandchildren, granddaughters, wives, you name it. There are so many different hats that we wear, right, Dr. Sandra?
Yes, indeed.
And so as we talk today, I want you all to pop in the comment section any thoughts you have on raising children as well. Is it difficult for you? Is it easy peasy? A lot of people say, well, it's just like smooth sailing over here. I'm good. That has not always been my story at all. At all. How about yours, Dr. Sandra?
Not at all. There have been moments when there were easy moments, and there have been years of challenging moments.
Yes, same here. And I'm sure our children will be like, oh, y'all gonna put us out there like that? We have to kind of throw you under the bus a little bit on this episode because we have to paint the true picture of how it is as a parent. And that way, other parents, women, men, if you're a father, any parents that are raising children, you'll be able to have something that you will be able to relate to throughout this broadcast. Let me go ahead and introduce Dr. Sandra. Dr. Sandra E. Jackson is a Shift-O-Logist. She's the 12th child of the late Bishop Samuel I. Rumpf and elect Lady Priscilla M. Rumpf. So you have a whole spiritual background too. So you had certain teachings and stuff growing up that you needed to implement as a parent yourself. But anyway, she's an inspirational national and international best-selling author, life insurance agent, life and grief coach, and ordained evangelist. And there's a lot more to her story, but I'm going to make sure she gets a chance to talk us through her backstory and what she's doing today. She was a housewife and went without employment. Well, anyway, I want to let her tell you her story. So welcome, Dr. Sandra Rumpf Jackson, to the Kim Jacobs Show.
Well, thank you. I am honored to be on the one and only Kim Jacobs Show. Baby, can't nobody do it like you.
Oh, thank you. And I see Barbara backstage. I'm going to pull her in right quick, too. Hey, Dr. Barbara, how are you? Oh, you're muted. I know you're traveling and stuff. So let me make sure you situated and unmute yourself, and we'll make sure that we say hello to you as well. You just be safe, most important, because you're muted.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. I'm so excited to tell you that I met Sandra 1 year ago and we fell in love and we are besties. And now, Kim, we're besties with you on your show.
Oh, you know what? That's so funny how some people say that that person makes them feel like everybody's their best friend. That's kind of exactly what's happening with you, Dr. Sandra. When people connect with you, they're like, oh, I'm her new bestie, I'm her friend. And they feel that spiritual connection with you. So I'm excited to hear other people saying that too, And let me let you all know too, with Barbara, Dr. Barbara Brink is a scientist. She's a mother, a wife, and an amazing author. And she has a PhD, lives in Austin, Texas, and let me see. Dr. Brink has her own YouTube channel, and she's published more than 40 books. So again, there's a laundry list of accolades pertaining to Dr. Barbara Ten Brink, but we are so glad to have you here
I'm so
today.
happy, Kim. I'm so happy to be here. Yes, I have an amazing story in myself. We all do. But the thing we're talking about today is Dr. Jackson and her ability to put together all these authors in an extreme
That's right.
compilation, an anthology, and this one happens to be raising children, and it turned out to be a fabulous project. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely. Now, Dr. Sandra, tell us what gave you the vision surrounding this particular anthology that you produced.
Wow. Thank you. That's an excellent question, Kim. So I was asleep, minding my own business, when the Lord woke me up, straight up in my bed. I sat up 3 o'clock in the morning, and he posed a question. If we don't do anything else in the next 5 years with our children, what do you think this world is going to be like? And you can imagine my brain began to flow with thoughts, and because he showed me some snippets of different people. So he showed me our girls and boys standing on the street corner with guns selling drugs. Then he showed me the elderly community scared and afraid to leave their home at night. Then he showed me a mother nursing her baby. And he said to me, if we can get this book in the hands of a parent that's still nursing that child, they can implement and teach the children, and our world will shift like a never before. And I said, God, how? And he said, do an anthology. Collect people from all over the globe, all backgrounds, all nationalities, and let's get this done. I said, God, this is going to be challenging. You know, it's Kim. There it is, Doctor. She's holding it up right there. Kim, I went about trying to do an author call, and a lot of people reached out to me, but they slowly fell off the scene. And I got to a point when I was kind of dismayed and disappointed, because I'm like, God, you told me, and I originally wanted 20, and I had 20, but people start, because it's such a challenging conversation. You know, a lot of parents don't feel like they did a great job.
Right.
And so I had to go about and weed them out, and they weeded themselves out. And then we prayed. And I said, Father God, only allow the people that you want in this anthology to be in this anthology,
Right.
because it was becoming taxing for me, you know. And so slowly but surely, we gathered together, and it was cohesive. And Dr. Barbara is in here sharing her lovable story. And everybody has a different story. My first lady is in here. She's talking, she gave her first 7 tips. And I'm so amazed by that. You know, just to have Nancy Franklin Gates, First Lady of CAM, to put her input in my book. I'm totally honored with that.
What I want to do is I want to show just a quick clip of all of some of the authors that you have here, and then come back and hear some more of the people that you'll name, if that's okay.
Yes.
Because it's absolutely mind blowing. Let's take a look at this one. Beautiful. Said Dr. Sandra, that is beautiful.
Wow.
Now, how many authors total are there in the book?
15.
15. So where you were having the stressor of, okay, I'm asking people, some are falling off, some are coming through. Ultimately, 15 said yes.
15 committed, 15 stayed in there. It was a struggle, Kim. I mean, you should hear the dialogue that we went back and forth with, but I'm not a good parent. But my child doesn't think that I did a good job. It was just so much, so much. It was heavy stuff. So, this is not an easy assignment. I took on something that God gave me to do, and I took it on with vim, vigor, and vitality. But baby, when I tell you, it was some rough, challenging moments to
Wow.
get this project out to you all.
Well, we're so glad that it's out and where people can actually order it now. It is actually available on Amazon, correct?
Yes, Amazon.
So make sure you go and get your copy of Raising Children is Not Easy, but it is worth it. And it is already available, just recently was released. And it's actually #1 bestseller on Amazon as well. So it's not just on Amazon, it's actually already on the top of the charts. So, Dr. Barbara, I saw that you raised your hand when you said, when she said, some people, the children don't think that you did a good job. And I saw you go like this. Unmute. Okay, tell us your story of being a parent.
Well, when Sandra approached me, I said exactly what Sandra just said in her introduction just now. I was one of the ones who said, well, I am, Kim, I am the worst among us. I like to say it like that because I'm a very candid person, and I am the worst among us. And what is that? What do I even mean by that?
Yes. What?
Well, darling, I reached the pinnacle, the apex of my career. I was director of science for the state of Texas at the State Department. And it was my job to coordinate science for the state of Texas. So what does that even mean? Well, it meant a lot of travel. Some of the travel was going to school districts. By my contract, I was told I would travel 40% of my time.
Right.
But then in the meantime, my husband and I decided to have our son. I traveled all the time pregnant. And then when Sam was born, I continued to travel with my job. So I like to talk about the fact that I was an absentee parent. I don't apologize for that at all, Kim. There are many, many ways to earn a living, and mine happened to involve travel.
Right.
So Sam, my son, turned out pretty good in that he benefited from my travel because he saw my passion for science education. He got to go on some of my trips.
That's what I was wondering.
Yes. He went to NASA. He went to the Madonna Observatory. He went to the Texas coast and went out on the ships, the exploratory ships with UT and Texas A&M. So I see it as, well, I was absent. I also see it as I was able to provide opportunities for my son.
Right.
Now, I will tell you, this is a really sweet story. Vera Thomas interviewed me, and she said, Barbara, do me a favor. Do me a favor and apologize to your son for being absent. Sandra, I did. I said, I had an opportunity this week, sat down with my son. I said, hey, Sam, by the way, I need to apologize being so absent. And he, stone look, he went, you were gone?
He didn't even realize it.
See,
that's because he was with you some of the times. That's interesting.
Exactly.
So where you were so stressed about it the whole time, it wasn't even a big deal to him at all, and it hasn't impacted any aspect of his life from a negative perspective. That's pretty amazing.
Kim,
That is
it
amazing,
turned out
Kim.
so beautifully. It turned out beautifully because, as I say in my chapter of Sandra's book, which I'm so happy to have had that opportunity to reflect. And I tell Sandra this all the time. She gave us the opportunity to reflect. And most of us don't take that time or be still for that minute to reflect. And I love her for that. And I wanted to tell you, I conclude my chapter by telling you that Sam is raising his little 3-year-old daughter the same way. He puts her into every kind of extracurricular activity there is: ballet, yoga, tap dance, gymnastics. So I'm real happy it turned out fine, but it was a great exercise for all of the authors to sit and go, wait a minute, I did it this way. Was it a bad way or was it a good way? And now,
Right.
asking the children, they're saying, well, we all turned out okay.
Exactly.
And that's a good thing. So congratulations and kudos to you. Now, as parents that are tuning in today as well, share some of your stories of how being a mom or dad has impacted your life and how you've helped raise these productive citizens. I know for me, I can say as a mother, when my children were younger is very different than how they are now. So when they were younger, I was trying to make things as routine as possible, but still was traveling in pharmaceutical sales. So I would have to bring, or I didn't have to, but I wanted, and I did bring my mother-in-law or bring my mom or somebody with me so that I could come back to the room and nurse my children whenever I was between meeting times. So that way I still had them with me, but I was able to do my job, but nobody at the company function would know when I would just have to go and take a quick break to go and nurse one of my children back in the hotel room. So I just think from a parenting perspective, just being creative and doing things that work for you is what's the best thing to do. It's not a book answer that you have to have.
Mm-mm. Kim, I wanted to say something to Dr. Barber's point. Most times we are very hard on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I put at the end of the book title, but it's worth it. Raising children isn't easy by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I have 9. I'm the mother. I birthed 9 children into this world. I created 9 molds that none of them are alike. And it is a ministry, Kim. It's a ministry, and do we get it right all the time? No, we do not. There are no perfect parents, and that's how I start mine off. God created a male and a female to somehow join together in holy matrimony and create the best gift that we can give to the world. I think that right there is an amazing feat to begin.
Yes, it is.
For a mother to carry a child 9 months. Why 9 months? Why not 12? Why not 4?
Right.
Why not, why?
Right.
God strategically planned for us to do this. And he chose the woman. Why didn't he choose the man? Because he knew the population of the world would not be as large as it is today.
That's right. That's right.
So he chose us to do ministry. And those that jumped in the ball game, I take my hat off to you, because raising children is a challenging thing. We're not equipped with all the tools that we need to do this thing. Nobody has taken the time out to teach us what to do. We obeyed the scripture, right? Marriage is honorable. The bed is undefiled. Homemongers and adulterers, God will judge. We got married. We bear children. But then what's the next step? I pushed them out, right?
Now you got to do something with them.
Now you got to do something. We forgot to plan what we're going to do after we pushed them out.
That's right.
And so Dr. Barber took it and she ran with it, man. I take my hat off to her.
Congratulations, Dr. Barbara.
If I had that opportunity, would I have done the same thing? I declare to God I would have. It would have eliminated a lot of suffering, So I don't judge a parent. A parent does what's best for the family.
Yeah, I agree. And I think everybody chime in as well. If you have any thoughts, and some people feel like parents should mothers in particular should stay at home and only raise their children. Some people feel like they should work outside of the home. I feel like a mother is a mother,
A
no
mother.
matter whether you are working inside of the home, which is still a full-time job, in my opinion, or if you are working outside of the home, which is a full-time job. But really, you're doing a full-time job when you're working outside of the home and another full-time job still when you get home. So you're working two full-time jobs, in my opinion, as the balance doctor.
It is the most challenging, underpaid position that anybody can have in the world.
That's
And
right.
I really wish, because I was a stay-at-home mom, I taught my children how to read before all of them, how to read before they even entered the school system, because I didn't want them to be behind the 8 ball.
That's
I
right.
did hands-on teaching. I can look at my children today, like I compliment them all the time. You all listened to me and you obeyed me at least 88% of the teaching. All right. Because we all have flaws, even myself. And
Of course.
I'm not the one to say I'm a perfect person. I'm not a perfect person.
No.
And so I didn't create perfect beings. I think, and you tell me, Kim, if I'm wrong, but back in the day, our parents raised us a certain way. And my parents had 15 children. All right. And we were all, yes, Barbara, 15 children, and we were all raised under the same mold. Like,
wow. The same household and roof.
The same household, the same rules across the board,
Wow.
the same punishments, the same everything. They even lined us up to spank us. All right. We got, yes, they were not prejudiced. Let me tell you, it was equal opportunity in the house. Everybody got the same thing. All right. But what I learned with being on my own and marrying and having children, and my mom told me this as well. She said, Sandra, each child has a different personality.
You better believe it.
And then she gave me this wisdom. She said, don't hamper their personalities.
I agree.
So with 9 children, it was a lesson. I took the challenge on. I ended up in major divorce. I ended up raising these children to the best of my ability. I had to start over from scratch.
With all of your children,
yes,
you had to start.
Over from scratch. And we had built up, we don't want to talk about that. Anyway, we lived
this episode about the whole parenting thing, right?
That's right. So
that makes it even harder though when we talk from that perspective too. Just a little 2-second blurb.
Yeah.
If you are in a divorce situation and you still have the responsibility of raising your children, and the other person is not involved in whatever the reason is, no condemnation or judgment. Who cares? The point is, if they're not involved,
come on.
You are starting over from scratch on your own.
I had to get 3 jobs, Kim. 3 jobs. All right. It was difficult. It was challenging. But when you're in the moment, I'm just going to say it. When you're in the moment, you don't look at challenge. You don't look at this is hard. This is difficult. What am I going to do? You have to, as a mother, I had to step in those big shoes and wear them well. All right. And so I taught my children, and they have great morals, great principles, great, I'm just so happy that it turned out the way it did, because it could have gone another way.
Yes.
That part right there. It could have gone a different way. The commentary could be different today. And so I'm grateful to God for everything that happened. And they're mowing my lawn, but
don't they always mow your lawn when you're on the show? Every time the people that come and mow the lawn, they literally come during the show. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. They're like 23 other hours, but you have to come during this 1 hour. Why? And then you don't want to go out and have to be like, pardon me, can you stop mowing the lawn? Because that's what they're there to do. So anyway, don't worry about it. This show is about how you balance your life anyway.
Yes. Balancing 9 children, working, no longer being a stay-home mom. The children no longer see you every day. And then I was in school as well, trying to better myself, trying to get an education. And then one day my daughter came to me and she said, Mom, we need you. We never see you. And girl, when I heard those words, I was like, oh no. My first thought was, oh no, I got to get my education. I got to finish this thing. I'm a finisher. I have to complete some stuff. And my education, and I'm in school now. I love education, right? I don't stop because I think learning is so intriguing. I want to
Hmm.
know. I just want to know, And so, to make a long story short, God blessed, and we're here today sharing our stories. And there's so many brilliant stories in this book. Come on, Barbara, hold it up. This book is top shelf, and not just because I'm in it or I initiated it. It's really top shelf. I was reading some chapters last night that blew my mind. Like, these people go there, they tell you the intricate details. Like, I got to thank Dr. Allen. She's the publicist, but she shared a story in this book that she's never shared in any other project.
Oh, so when we come back after the commercial break, I would love for you to just share a snippet of what Dr. Allen shared,
Oh,
okay?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't share the whole thing because
I'm
then,
not.
then people won't get a chance to be able to pick up the book. And I want them to pick up this number one. It's not just on Amazon, y'all. Number one bestseller on Amazon. Raising kids is not easy, but it's worth it. And these 15 authors, under the direction of visionary Dr. Sandra E. Jackson, knows what she's talking about. All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break. Hear from our episode sponsor, which is Hunter Everidge Law Firm. If you are dealing with workers' compensation or you're dealing with wrongful death of a loved one, you may be even dealing with a disability claim that maybe you've been denied for before. You don't want to miss the opportunity to talk to Hunter Everidge Law Firm. We'll be right back.
When someone has lost a loved one, they want to know what exactly happened. They want to know, is the other person going to be held responsible? And they want closure. At Hunter and Everidge, we help clients that have lost a loved one move on, and to do that with dignity and respect that they deserve.
Yes, Kim. What an amazing book. Dr. Allen.
Wait, it's still playing the commercial. I gotta hide it from over there. But it's coming up. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. And we are back, everyone, right here on the Kim Jacobs Show. And so go ahead, if you would, and tell us about Dr. Allen's chapter.
Can you imagine being 15 years old? When you were 15, what were you doing?
Cheering and enjoying. I was a president of my class in high school or something, and just enjoying my life type of thing.
In high school, I was in high school working the bookstore, working in the main office, doing all kind of fun things on the
Right.
sports team. Dr. Allen was pregnant.
Mm,
Yeah. Dr. Allen
wow.
was in high school pregnant, and she had to change high schools because back in the day, they weren't having that, baby. You had to go to a different school, leave all of your friends,
Aw,
change your whole life around. I'm not going to tell you the rest of her story.
right.
Another person in the book,
Mm,
Julie Melville, you have to read her story. She messed her story with Michelle Obama, First Lady's story, new book. She
mm,
meshed her story around Dr. Oh my God, it is amazing. She
wow.
grew up in a home where her parents owned a hotel. Yeah, they owned
Mm,
the hotel. So
okay.
that's wealth on top of wealth. But then they had children.
Mm,
Did they take care of them or did they leave them?
wow.
What do you think? There is another story in there of LaDonna.
Hmm,
LaDonna's story is, I don't even have the words for her story. All right.
wow.
She went through some challenging things in her youth, got pregnant by her father. But God turned it. I wish somebody in the audience would say, God will turn your situation around.
Yes, please type it if you would. God can turn your situation around, or
Yes.
will turn your situation around.
God,
God will turn your situation around. Type that in the comments
God
section.
is amazing, you know, and you think you're suffering and you're going through this thing called life
Mhm.
without purpose, but all of us have purpose. I just want to say that right there. All of us have purpose. She was raped and molested by her dad, got pregnant, went through a miscarriage, but God turned it for her. She married the best man. Isn't that amazing?
That
She
is
married
nothing short of miraculous.
she
Yeah.
married an amazing man that takes good care of her and loves her, and she met him at the age of 15 in school.
Aw.
He takes amazing care of her. She never wanted children because of her struggle of
Right, of
all the
course.
things she went through. They ended up having 2 daughters, and she shared intricate details about raising her children.
Wow.
It's
Okay,
breathtaking.
y'all. If you're just tuning in, we're talking with the visionary Dr. Sandra E. Jackson, and we're talking with Dr. Barbara Brink, right? That's your last name, is Dr. Brink, right? And we're talking with them today about raising children is not easy, but it's worth
But
it.
it's worth it.
So make sure you put some comments in the comments section, and make sure you share the broadcast. These are some of the 15 authors that she's sharing a piece of their dynamic story with us today. I see some studio audience comments, and I want to take a moment for us to acknowledge you all and thank you for being here today. Make sure you all continue to invite your friends. Let's see. I see Allison Skeet, and she says, what does Allison say? Allison is saying that it's not easy. And when they succeed, we wait to hear them say, the older I get, the smarter my mom or dad is. We look forward to that, right?
Yes.
That's confirmation that it's all worth it. Great comment. Also, speaking of Allison Skeet, who's there in that picture, she is a grandma nana, 7 girls and 1 boy. So she is the grandma nana to 8 grandchildren. I put a post on Facebook earlier, and she commented on that. And then Bernie Simmons is also known as, because a certain age and certain look, you don't want to be called grandma. So they want to be called either grandma or something. And she says she's called Granny Babe. Granny Babe. So Bernie Simmons is Granny Babe. All right, let's see. Somebody asked, okay, you asked, do you have children? This is a great conversation. Yes. My mom is on, and she said, good morning, ladies, to you all as well.
Good morning, Mom.
So let's just talk about some of the struggles of being a parent. What were some of the things you dealt with? Dr. Barbara, unmute yourself. Tell us some things that were challenges for you.
No, I want to, Sandra's talking about the different authors who contributed to her book. So I want to tell you about one chapter. I solicited my girlfriend, and she wrote, probably, darlings, I'm going to tell you this. She went to school in Monterrey, Mexico. So
Okay.
now at age 16, she legally immigrated to Austin. I met her at age 16, and by let me just walk you through her chapter. By 18, she was married. By 19, she had a baby. By 20, he had died of a rare virus, horrible death. And so now she has 1 baby she's raising by herself, again, single mom. And it doesn't matter what life throws you. We raise these babies.
Right.
About 3 years later, she remarries a wonderful, wonderful man. I love Arturo as much as I love Miriam. And they have 2 children, and she talks about raising her 3 boys. And
Wow.
the problem with immigrants is they work really, really hard. They sometimes they have to travel. I want to say, like, migrant workers kind of thing. And so now here she's married to a wonderful man. She has 3 boys, and she's still a single parent, getting these boys in all of their extracurricular activities. And her tip her number one tip on her chapter was listen to your children, because if one of her boys said, well, I love horses, she got him a horse. If one of them
Whoa.
was, yes, and if one of them loved travel and camping, she joined the Boy Scouts. So I just want to share Miriam Santana's story. It's one of Sandra's chapters.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, because that just shows the diversity of authors that's in this anthology,
Yes.
from people that were pregnant in their teenage years to people that are like, did I do a good job as a mom? And did my children really recognize it later in life? It's a lot of different variations of parents that are kind of telling all in this anthology. It is the #1 bestseller on Amazon, and you can get a copy of it now. Literally, it's available. It just was recently released. And I'll put the actual #1 bestseller right there. You
That's
can see
it.
it's right there. And you can go and get it on Amazon right away to be able to incorporate it into your principles and practices that you share as a parent, that you can actually implement as a parent. I know in the book that I wrote, Extreme Balance Makeover, and it's available as well on kimjacobshow.com and on Amazon. But the book, when I wrote that, Extreme Balance Makeover, it's on there. It's on, I think it's on this image. Yeah, over there to the right. That particular book, I talk about the importance of having a good parent-teen relationship, being able to keep your conversations confidential. None of your children want to come to you and talk to you about something if they know that that's going to be the family discussion later on in that day when you're talking to their aunt or uncle or someone. So being able to know that there's like an open door policy and that you're keeping that conversation confidential. I used to do a big to do was like signing a contract with my children. And I did that because I felt like they would be able to honor it better if they put it in writing themselves, what they are agreeing to. And that just worked lovely for us. I know I'm not a part of this particular anthology, but raising 5 children and seeing them become who they are today, one of which is in heaven. So he's the ultimate winner up there in heaven, and still serving as one of my cloud of witnesses, and still my son. He's still my son. Anyway, I'm honored to see what God is doing in their lives, but that's important. Anyway, all right. So Dr. Sandra, what we were going to talk about next is just tell us some of the thoughts pertaining to the highs and the lows of being a mom. And I know just recently, at least 17 mass shootings took place over 4th of July weekend, and many of them involved young people.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we need to talk about that when we come back. And we don't have to talk about the shootings per se, but it's just the mindset of what is happening in our world, that young people, older people think it's okay to go and take somebody else's life. I want to hear some thoughts when we come right back. Is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll be right back, everybody, right after this break.
Welcome to Confidence Tones, where we use a proprietary audio development formula called audio immersion to provide an experience that's designed to help quickly and effortlessly generate positive change in the subconscious mind when used correctly. This experience is achieved using 4 primary building blocks: brainwave modulation, invocation of positive emotions, immersive imagination stimuli, and developmental suggestion. We know of no other source in the world that provides the synergistic combination. With a good pair of headphones, you'll be able to immerse yourself into audio that's designed specifically to help you feel better, do better, and live better.
All right, everyone, we're back. And again, that's confidencetones.com. If you want to learn more about Confidence Tones, definitely call 800-820-0584, or you can visit drjod.com and let her know that the Kim Jacobs Show sent you her way. And everybody that's been getting these confidence tones are madly in love with them. So I love the sponsors that we have here on the Kim Jacobs Show, and I like to acknowledge them. Okay, so check out confidencetones.com. Dr. Sandra or Dr. Barbara, or both, please start with you, Dr. Sandra. Tell us your thoughts on what's going on in this world.
I don't know, Kim. I think this book would really help parents. And I know parents are at a loss right now
Yes.
because you don't know what type of child you're actually raising. You asked a question, and I'm going to share with you one in particular incident in my home. I had the last 4 girls in my home, and it's comical now, but it wasn't funny then because I was in parental mode.
Right.
And the girls was picking on one child, and I don't like that. I think everybody should be treated right, respectfully, and all of that. And I won't hear of anything else. And so one day we're sitting around the table and we're discussing it, and I'm letting them know what you did to so and so was not right. That's mean. And I had them to take out some paper and put "I am mean" and put it right on their forehead, and they had to leave it there. That's right.
I am mean.
I am mean because I wanted them to know they went to great lengths to hurt somebody. And when you hurt somebody, you have to be accountable to your actions.
Right.
You know, the world today, people will hurt somebody and they just go on as if they never hurt anybody. That's because they didn't get the training in the house.
They right.
They didn't get it up close and personal.
That's right.
And so I'm an obligated parent. Like, I'm going to show you your flaws and I'm going to compliment your successes. Good. Right. And so I have to, and I tell them, I'm not your best friend. No, I'm not.
That's
maybe when we get older, maybe I'll be your best friend. But right now, I'm a teaching mom, right. And I'm going to teach you all the things you need to know to make it in society.
That's good.
Somebody might treat you wrong, but I need my children to know the difference between right and wrong. And I told them, if you don't learn anything else from me, I need you to know the difference between right and wrong, because that's a major difference.
That's good. I'm glad you said that. That's a very enlightening philosophy as well. Dr. Barbara, say something too. Yeah.
I do want to address that, and that is this. When a person misbehaves, it needs to be brought to their attention.
Yeah.
Because the stages of change start with awareness. So I may not even know that my behavior was inappropriate. I may not know. And until somebody brings it to my attention, and the first stage of change is awareness. So I don't mean to punish, but at least we need to admonish. We need to say, honey, what you just said to your sibling is inappropriate.
Of course. That's the only way we can get better.
Right. If they don't know, they don't know. And that is our job, to teach them.
Well, I'm grateful for that comment as well. And I see, my Aunt Sadie is on here too. She says, let me put her paragraph up. Can you read that, Dr. Sandra, for me when it comes on the screen? Let me pop it on there.
Good morning, ladies. I can relate to being a mother that had to show strength after a divorce. That's what it's all about. That S word right there. Being a single mother, raising a child was tough, but I thank God for my support system. And that's very key. You have to have a support system. Now, I was like on an island by myself. I lived in over a $500,000 home. It was difficult because I didn't have my family near me at all. I had a church, Christ Temple. I will forever thank Bishop J.E. Moore. He stepped in and he was my support system. Another lady there that really, really helped, Sister Ryan. Sister Ryan will forever be precious to me. I couldn't afford a nickel over, because living in that type of a house, you know, all your money is going to go towards expenses. And with all of those children leaving lights on morning, noon, and night, and chasing behind them, turning off switches, leaving things plugged in, opening
Yeah.
the refrigerator 24 hours a day. All of my money went to the bills to keep the lights on, the gas on, the water on, all of that. But guess what she did? She
What?
purchased clothing, everything for my children. Shoes. She knew my children's shoe sizes. She knew their everything. I didn't know anything because I was just overwhelmed. I'm just going to be honest. I was overwhelmed. Didn't know how I was going to do it. But God sent us to Christ Temple. Sister Ryan, she would do care packages. And even to this day, periodically, I can look at my front door and there is a box of goodies. And she
That
always,
is awesome. Sister Ryan, thank you so much.
I love
And I'm glad to hear that she's such a wonderful part of your story.
her.
And I love the fact that you said that you were just overwhelmed. So
Girl.
it was like this is and sometimes when people are going through, I can only speak again for Kim, what I've gone through and not expecting certain things to happen in my life that were really like jarring. My whole existence was shaken and the foundation was like, what is happening to me?
Come on.
So it's no way for you to be able to figure out now, wait a minute, how do I start telling everybody I need help? I want help. I am in this moment of mine. Sometimes you need a Ms. Ryan to just step in for you and say, look, baby, you in the picture frame and you can't see that you are unraveling right now because this stuff right here is going too far, what you've been dealing with. So maybe it's just weighing too heavy on you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to step in and get you and your kids situated a little bit so that you're not on an island by yourself.
I don't even have the words to say. And so I try to give back to her today. You can't even make up for the years. She didn't do this for a month. She didn't do this for 2 weeks. She did this for years. Yeah, she took money from her family. Every time she went out shopping, she didn't only buy clothing items, she brought food. I'm telling you, she would call me and say, I got this box of stuff for you. Come pick it up. I would drive 30 minutes away, 40 minutes away to go get things to bring back to my house so my family could be intact. Sister Ryan, I'm telling you, I pray that God blesses her immensely, like with all of her dreams to come true. She would call me, I would pick her up and take her driving. I mean, anything. We did things together. She was like my sister.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, and it's many more people that I can't name, like that stood in the gap for me. And I am just indebted to them. And I just pray for them. They prayed for me morning, noon, and night. They were my support system. And I'm telling you, but you know what, Kim? I didn't look in at my situation. What I started doing, and this is for those that are suffering right now. Don't look at your sister. You can't look at your situation. You have to look at God.
Yes.
I started ministry. I started going into hospitals, visiting.
That's so good.
People. I was like, Sister Ryan was like, girl, will you slow down? When I tell you, I stepped it up a notch. I started going into homes of men and women, elderly families. Bishop Moore, he would give me gas money to go, and he would give me money for cards, and I would take cards and present them to the elderly and read scriptures and just give them a day. Like I would take a plant to their home, and I would look. I started ministering like God told us to do back in the day.
I am so grateful.
I started doing things for God. God started doing things for me.
And I'm so glad you're saying that, because if somebody type that in the comment section, because there are a lot of people that may be watching the replay later and they get a chance to hear some of these tips. This is not what you said, but I'm saying this piece myself, which is take the focus off of you and put it on somebody else. But what Dr. Sandra said is don't focus on your situation. So somebody type that. Don't focus on your situation or your circumstance. Focus on somebody else. And I do believe that will change everything for what you feel at that moment of your own weakest moments. That's exactly what I've done too. I've just focused on the things that I can control, the things that God has giving me to do, and I've put my whole heart into those things. I read my scriptures. I say, listen, God, you are the author and the finisher of my faith. You are, not any other person, not my children, not my mom, not my ex-husband, none of that stuff. None of it is in control of me. God is the author and the finisher of my faith. And the joy of the Lord is going to be my strength, no matter what I'm presented with. And so being a parent, for me, I look at that as a gift from God. I look at it as, these are my assignments. These are my children that God has given me, and he expects me to help pour into them, to develop them to become who he ultimately wants them to become. So it's an honor and a privilege to be a mother, in my opinion. Barbara, any input? You got the cutest freeze frames. You're like,
I know, right?
She's traveling, everybody, just so y'all know. Barbara, when you can just unmute yourself and start talking, and we'll be quiet. How about that?
I want to say that too. I was 36 years old when I finally decided to have my one child. And guess what I would have missed? Guess what I would have missed? I am so, I mean, I know we've been talking about mothers who started early. Well, I chose to have a career, and I'm so happy with that choice. However, I'm so glad I made the choice to have my son, and there's so much joy in in raising a child. I love Kim I love what you said. If you're facing a challenge, look outside your home and find someone having a greater challenge, and possibly you can help them. And you realize then everything is in perspective. I love that, Kim, that you said that. So I had a child, I had one, I had him later in life. I'm so thankful to God that I was able. I had 2 miscarriages, so it might not have happened, and it did. And that's divine intervention right there, that I was given this gift. And now I just have so much fun with him. Conversations are fun. Grandchildren are fun. I'm so glad. And everybody, share your story. Reflect on your story. Sandra taught each of us. Reflect on your story, because you will see the quality.
That's right. That's right. My mom made some comments as well. She said, I was a single mother of 1 daughter, 2 sons, and now a bonus daughter. Trust me, it has not been been easy, and it's been a job, but it's worth it. And I would do it all over again and again, is what she said. And then she also said she had awesome support systems from her mom and her grandmother, and the grandmother of my children were there for me and my children all the time. And she's so accurate. My great grandmother and my grandmother were actively involved in our lives. And speaking of my mom uprooted her life when my son passed. One of my children passed away, and she was in Virginia for her whole life, forever, in Newport News, Virginia. She literally uprooted and came to help with our family during that time, and has just supported us more than I could have. I don't know that I could have made it at the level that I did without my mom being a rock and a foundation that I could lean on. So I'm so grateful for her.
And you know, Kim, it's so amazing that God knows what we can handle, and he send the right people at the right time. Now, my sister, Pastor Cynthia Anderson, she literally would send money to me often. I can't even repay her. She's renewing her wedding vows, so I'm headed out of town after this show. After my show tonight, we're gonna go out of town. She's been married for 34 years, and it's been rocky. No, we need to write a book. Marriage is not easy, but it's worth it. I
should write a chapter. You can't make somebody stay married either. That whole philosophy. You can say you want to be married for the rest of your life, and I know I want to be married for the rest of my whole life.
Me
but
too.
You cannot make somebody stay married.
You cannot do it. You can't do it. However, she took money from her home to help support my home. What?
34 years.
Yeah, 34 years. You know, My parents stood in the gap for me. My family stood in the gap for me. I remember my dad calling the family together. Now I'm in a whole nother state, right? He called all the family members together, said, Sandra need help financially with such and such and such. They
Yeah.
all collectively raised money and sent it so I can, yeah. My entire family has helped me time and time and time again. Was it an embarrassing situation? Oh, girl, I stayed embarrassed probably 90% of my life.
It's-
Embarrassed. You have to ask people for help.
And
You know?
let me interject for 1 second. Is it more embarrassing to ask the family for help or to have to ask your adult children for help? I've
Well,
had to ask my adult children,
uh-huh.
and that I definitely don't want to end on a crying note, but that right there,
Well, Kim, let me tell you this. I think you paid your dues, right? And so you're worth it and you're deserving of it. And so listen to me. Right now, today, I couldn't make it without my children.
me either,
All
clearly.
right.
And I thank you,
I'm just
children.
gonna put it out there. I couldn't make it without my children. We band together and we do the thing and we do it as best as we can. And that's what family is all about.
And I think God even gives you, he knows what you're going to stand in the need of, and he
Oh,
knows the seasons that we're going to be in life, even
eh,
though we only know in part as we're going through this thing called life. But it doesn't, we're not out of balance. We're
no,
not out of sync. We're not out of
no,
the will of God and all of
no,
that, just
no.
because you're finding yourself in a season in your life.
Right.
But I am so godly grateful
Yes,
that
ma'am.
God would give me the children that he gave me for this season of my life.
Yeah. So, Kim, I look at it like this, and my children, I mean, I have a daughter right now. She gives me over 70% of her check, every check. She won't take no for an answer. She said, this is for the bills. We created bills. They're not your bills, mommy. These are everybody's bills. All
Mm.
right. I have another daughter. She works like she's like me. She's a workaholic. She doesn't stay home. She's going to be at somebody's job doing something somewhere. All right. And so she contributes greatly to the house. My baby daughter, y'all pray for her. She loves money.
That's funny. You know, the kids gonna be like, y'all can't be doing no kids show and talking about us at this
Yeah,
level.
yeah,
I
yeah.
see somebody, Allison Skeet. Actually, just so you all know, Allison is a great supporter of the Kim Jacobs Show. She's donates and is always one of our contributors in the community that we love and honor. So thank you so much. And she said that always God sends the right
The right
people.
people.
Always, she said. And my aunt Sadie, I want to put this right here. My aunt Sadie, she's one of the grandmas. She like, don't be calling her no grandma. That's her. That's my
Hi,
aunt.
Sadie.
She like, I am a grandma. And she said, I absolutely love being a mother and a friend to my child. And she has a daughter that she she was a single mother for many years, but has the love of her life. My uncle, I call him Uncle Deacon. And they've been married for many years, actually getting ready to celebrate a major milestone in their marriage in December. So I'm excited about. Thank you for being here, Aunt Sadie. Okay, any closing comments? This book, y'all, get the book. I see your comment, Mom, saying you need Kim, get me that book. Don't worry, I got you. Okay. My mom like, I want
My
that
link,
book in my hand
look,
today.
that's
Now, I
right.
don't know
Look,
Kindle or download. She don't want the download stuff.
that's
I
right.
download stuff.
Kim, the link to use is in the chat right here.
Okay,
All
let
right.
me pull
And
that
then
up.
my website, you put up Sandra Rump Jackson, is sandrajackson.com.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
SandraRumpf.com.
sandrarump.com.
Okay,
So
yeah, let me put that. Let me go back. Thank you so much. Here we
Mhm.
are. It's SandraRumpf.com
Mhm.
is where they can get the book there too.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can actually get an autographed copy of
Yes,
the
ma'am.
book. Get you an autographed copy right at Sandra Rumph, RUMPH.com. Sandra, RUMPH for the podcast listeners.com. Okay. And then the link for you to be able to, this is for people to go to where?
That link will go straight to PayPal, and
Oh.
then they could order it. I'll have their address and I can autograph. And by the way, I put in my autographs what God tell me to write for the specific person.
Me
So
too.
you
I
get,
thought I was the only one that did that.
baby, I'm special. You special. You know that.
No, you
Listen.
are.
So I autograph my books. I have a bag, a pouch that I specialize mine. So if you want to order it from me, you want to click that link. It's a PayPal link. It'll come straight to me, and I will take good care of you and send it out to you. My shipment of books just came in yesterday. I'm just honored. Like when I look at this book, all I could do is laugh. It's just a beautiful book. Like
So if we want to we're gonna order ours. I know Amazon, and I did the whole support thing.
Yeah.
Doing the international campaign and all of that. But I want to get an autographed copy for me and one for my mom. So I want to make sure we get our copies mailed with you doing a direct message. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the link right there. Right there. You can just copy and paste it into your browser, or I don't know if you have to type all those little numbers, but the point is use that link and get you an autograph copy. Why don't you share a closing comment too, Barbara, Dr. Barbara? Oh, I know you got to unmute yourself.
Girl, I want to say, everybody, thank you for coming to the show. We're having such a good time with this book. The beautiful thing is, it's not one author, it's not three authors, it's 16 authors sharing their stories, which means that now we are a group of friends some of us meeting for the first time, thanks to Sandra. She's put all of us together, and now Kim putting all of us together. And guess what? Strength in numbers. We're all in this together. It's not, I was a single mom. We are all in this together.
That's
Amen.
good. That's good. So good. We're all in this together.
Yes,
and if you're interested in writing a book, and maybe you don't want to write a whole book, but you want to write a chapter, definitely reach out to Dr. Sandra Jackson. She is a visionary. This is not her only project. She looks forward to working with up and rising authors. So definitely reach out to her at sandrarumpf.com. And I want to acknowledge our episode sponsors again: Attorney Charles Everidge with Hunter Everidge Law Firm, Dr. Jody Bear with Confidence Tones, and making sure you all get your copy of the Confidence Tones. And definitely GetInsured.Solutions is one of our episode sponsors, Samantha Benson. Go ahead. Hold that book up. Hold that book
Kim, I want to say thank you to Dr. Hadnot. Now, she endorsed this book. And she's not a small piece of change, all right? She's the real deal. Our book was endorsed by Dr. Hadnot. Then the cover of this amazing project, I'm just so thrilled with, Sonia Pendleton Sam. She's somebody you should know.
I'm going to put it up here. Wait a minute. I'm going to put you front and center.
She is an there you go. Oh, that book is gorgeous, isn't it? Oh my God. Look at the little boy. I love him. Oh my gosh.
Raising children is not easy, but it is worth it.
Yes. This book is just amazing. It's a parental guide of tips, tools, and strategies to raising a productive child. You need this book. Your friend, your family, your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, your niece, your nephew, the coaches need this book. The libraries all over the globe need it. Your children, I know it's difficult for you to teach your children. And I don't know if you're anything like me. I was having this conversation with one of my daughters the other day. She came to me with an aha moment because somebody had said something to her. And I said, baby, I said the same thing to you as well. But somehow children hear better from someone else than they hear from you. And she said to me, Mommy, I heard you, but it resonated and gelled with me when I heard them say it. This book will say everything for you that you've been trying to instill in your children. Integrity, that's key. We talk about it. How to get credit cards and be successful with it. We talk about that. We talk about how important it is for children to communicate with their parents. We give the statistics of how many people have been kidnapped because of lack of communication. I tell a funny story that happened to me growing up. Baby, when I tell you this book is full of gems, nuggets, tips, tools, and strategies, you can't live without it.
You can't live without it. So once you get it, it's kind of like those books that you have, and you're like what to expect when you're expecting. It's certain books that you
Yes,
have that I know for me anyway that I have
yes.
on my bookshelf, and they're just a part of my go-to when I need to just get some quick points that I need to remember. Kim, you are a mother. You need to remember raising children is not always easy, but it's worth it. Dr. Sandra told you that. Dr. Barbara told you that. Get the book, find the page that applies to your situation at that moment in your life. Go to sandrarumpf.com. Get a copy today. Once you get it, it's in your library and you can refer back to it as often as you need when those situations arise. We don't know what situations are going to arise as parents. We can't predict those things. So that's why this book is so helpful. And yes, Allison, I see you. We are collaborating authors in a book, and 14 authors were in the book that we were in. And it's just so important to collaborate with other like-minded individuals. Thank you for the vision that God gave you, Sandra Rumpf, Dr. Sandra Rumpf. And what do you want readers to walk away with when they read this book? Tell us that as a closing thought.
I would like for you to walk away with strength and courage. There's a mother in here who is also a health professional. She talks about blended families. Today's society, you're going to find blended families all over the place. You need this book. There's a health professional in here that teaches you how to eat, what to stay away from. I try to implement as many tools that I can get in this book as possible. I want you to walk away confident, whole, with your head up, knowing that as a parent, you got this, that you're not on an island by yourself, and that you have a camaraderie of people around you supporting you, and you can do it. Like, this book shows you that you can get the job done. Just get it done. That was my mom's slogan, just get it done. And so since we have to get it done, we provided this for you. And I know we want reviews. When you get this book, you read a chapter or two and write a review. That rhyme. Read a chapter or two,
Right.
and write a review.
Yeah. So on the count of three, we're gonna do that. One, two, three, go. Get a chapter or two, and
write
a
a
review.
Read a chapter or two, and write a review.
Somebody type that.
Read a chapter or two, and write a review. Reviews help us. Right now, I checked yesterday, we had 12 amazing reviews. They are telling us how good this book is. Your review on Amazon pushes this book up to where we want it to go. I want 1 million people, and I know that's not too much. I want 1 million people to purchase this book. I want 1 million people to purchase this book. And it starts with you. Yeah. So if you share, you get the book, and then you share it with someone else, just throw the link out there. Copy and paste the link and say, you got to have this book. Yeah. All right. Those that can't afford a lot, the ebook is $2.99, which the price is getting ready to go up. So you want to get it now.
Yeah, but the ebook, you can download it to any of your devices. Yeah, I have it on Kindle with Amazon, whatever way. It's mainly on my Kindle library. That's what I like to read on. But then I also like the paperback and the hardbacks, because then I can go in and use my highlighter, take notes, pull my binder out and take additional notes. This is a great read for each of you all. And again, a blueprint is more than just a read. It's a blueprint. So I hope that it will bless you as much as it's blessing those that have already taken advantage of it. Go to sandrarumpf.com and get your copy today. I see people saying this is a great show. Thank you so much for all of your comments. You've been just wonderful, everybody. And you've contributed a lot today. Make sure you take a moment to donate to the Kim Jacobs Show. I always like to give you that opportunity. And so you can do that by going right to Cash App, $ Kim Jacobs Inc., or paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. You can even use Venmo at the Kim Jacobs Show. But this is the only way that this broadcast can come on Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So take a moment to donate. Thank you all for being amazing guests. I hope your travels are safe down there, Barbara, Dr. Barbara. Thank you, Dr. Sandra. You are an amazing visionary. And thank you in the studio audience for participating. Mom, I got you. Don't worry. You get your copy of the book. And Dr. Tina Ramsey, if you all are not familiar with her, she is with CTR Media Network. And we stream the Kim Jacobs Show in 100 countries, 350 million households, thanks to Dr. Tina J. Ramsey. And my aunt said, this is a great show, ladies. All right, y'all, we got to get off this show. We got to get off. This has been awesome. When you talk about motherhood, you can talk all day, right? All day. Any final thought, Dr. Sandra?
Well, I'll be on Sandra's Authors Forum tonight with Sister Izzy Thomas. If you want to see us, please tune in tonight at 8 o'clock. And then I will be on Eagles Rest Church ministering tonight as well. On my Facebook page, you will be able to see the live show, and that's in all kind of countries all over the globe. I don't know how he did that, but that's a fabulous show. But if you want to be interviewed, if you have a product, if you have a business, a company, a marriage that you would like to highlight, please reach out to me, because I love to interview folks.
And you do an excellent job. You make everyone feel so comfortable. And Sandra's Authors Forum is where you'll find her as well on social media. Sandra's Authors Forum. And that's right here in the comments section for you all. Mm-hmm. Dr. Barbara, any closing? You're like, dog, I should have said this. Say it.
No, I just want to say, Kim, thank you for having us. Sandra, thank you for inviting all of us to write in your book. Oh my God, it was such a fun exercise. And guess what, ladies? We discovered we all did it right. We right. Produced pretty fine human beings, and I'm happy about that. Thank you for having us on your show, Kim. Fabulous. Thank you.
All right, and this is a thank you from Dr. Sandra right here in this video clip. Let me show you. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show, and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you, and make it a great day.